Sports. Pleased to be joined with one of the newest Vees for the 2021-22 season, Dane Montgomery. Dane, first off, thanks for joining us today. And what's the summer like right now in Grand Forks, North Dakota? I know it's usually a chilly place in the winter. What's the landscape like when it comes to the summertime?
Right now, it's actually been really nice. So far this summer, it's been upper 80s pretty much for the whole summer. Not a lot of rain. So been able to get outside a lot, which is nice.
So you joined the Vees after you played 3 seasons in Waterloo with the Waterloo Blackhawks in the United States Hockey League. Let's get into that a little bit. And playing in Waterloo, or 2 seasons, then also playing a handful of games. So, you have a chance to play in Waterloo and play in junior hockey. What's that experience been like for you over the course of the last 3 seasons?
So from the beginning, I guess it's a little bit different when you're young and you go in and kind of learn everything. And then as I went on, like last year, I was the leader, captain of the team. So it obviously got a little bit easier to play and understand the game. And as you play more games, you kind of figure out the way teams play and what it takes to win at that level.
And then coming into Penticton now, and it's obviously a program that has a lot of history, a lot of history with this franchise. What was kind of one of the things that drew you to this team that wanted to make you come out west and wanted to make you come to Canada to play for the Vees?
Just the amount of guys they've had move on and have success at the next level to play more. So it's pretty impressive, the amount of guys that have moved on, and I'm hoping to be one of them.
So let's jump into your early career and growing up in Grand Forks and playing hockey in North Dakota. What was that experience like? Because it's one of those things that, I know hockey's gotten bigger in the United States. Now there's a lot more states that obviously are incorporating hockey amongst their sports, but North Dakota's always been that kind of state that's had hockey at the forefront. So was that kind of the first sport that you jumped to and gravitated towards at a younger age?
Yeah, between that and baseball. Baseball is pretty big in my family, but yeah, with hockey, it's grown so much in the state of North Dakota, and you can see with a lot more guys moving on to play junior hockey and then going on to play college or going to play pro. But it's pretty awesome being able to play in my hometown pretty much all the way growing up. And we have really good hockey here. We got good coaches, good facilities to use, and it's awesome the amount of teams that we get to play kind of spread out. We get to play the Canadian teams, we get to play the teams from Minnesota. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, what was the early travel schedule like for you? Obviously, I'm sure it's a lot of Manitoba and a lot of Saskatchewan getting up to play in Canada. But for you growing up, was there a lot of travel involved with your hockey? Maybe it was what's one of the trips that kind of stands out in your mind as one of the ones from a young age that you're like, yeah, that was pretty cool to go to?
My second year Pee Wee, we went to Madison, Wisconsin to play in the regional tournament. That was pretty fun. We ended up winning it after we won the state tournament in North Dakota. So it was cool to get to play other teams from around the Midwest.
So growing up in the Midwest, what are some of the things that, you mentioned you were a baseball player as well. What were some of the other things that you like doing kind of away from the rink that you grew up kind of liking? And, you mentioned hockey and baseball, a big part of your family. Is that something that, you find yourself downstairs in the basement playing mini sticks a lot of the times in the winter and a lot of times through the summer as well?
Oh yeah, countless holes in the wall that my dad had to repair from playing mini sticks down there. I got three brothers, so it was always a battle. Didn't matter who it was down there. We kind of just full on, full body contact, everything. It was a full on game. But other than that, baseball, played a lot of baseball growing up until my junior year. Then I just decided to play hockey. But other than that, I enjoy going to the lake. We've always gone as a family we had a cabin for a while growing up, and then now just go with buddies. But other than hockey and baseball, it's pretty much the lake, and played a little football here and there, but kind of quit after freshman year of high school.
So, just looking at this right now, and I believe, the third of four brothers. Is that correct?
Yep.
So, obviously, having two older brothers, I'm sure it was a little bit difficult. I'm sure there was a lot of picking on processes going on early in your life. And you mentioned those mini stick games. I'm sure there were a lot of games you had to suffer defeats before you finally were able to win games. But I want to talk about you and your youngest brother as well, because he's also playing hockey in the United States Hockey League with Tri-City. Did you have any games against him over the last few years? And what were those kind of experiences like? And more so for your parents as well. Was it almost nerve-wracking to hope that you two aren't going to get in a fight?
Actually, yeah. So the first time we played each other, I had pretty much my whole family there, like all my cousins, aunt, and uncles. It was very cool. It was honestly the coolest experience. And then in Kearney, we played each other in Tri-City, and we got to take the opening face off against each other, which was really cool. Yeah, we did have a little encounterment. He caught me in the face like the first shift of the game, and then I asked him to fight, and we didn't end up going. But my dad definitely would not have been happy with that.
So is that who would have been more mad, as the mom or the dad?
My dad, 100%.
And I think even the better question, who would have won the fight?
Oh, me. Come on.
So growing up with three other brothers, I mean, it makes you pretty tough, obviously. And I'm sure that translates to your play on the ice as well. How do you kind of describe the way that you play and what Vees fans can kind of expect from you coming up this season?
I would say I'm a two-way player. I like to get around the net and play down below the goal line. I like to have the puck on my stick, like to make plays and like to score goals, but it doesn't always happen. I'm like to penalty kill, block shots, anything, power play, like to do it all. But overall, I'd say I'm a two-way player that plays hard all the time. And I'm sure a lot of fans will enjoy that.
Is there anybody that you kind of look at from an NHL standpoint and try and model your game after, or if there's a specific team that you kind of draw yourself towards watching more often?
I watch a lot of the Canucks games with Brock Besser playing at UND. I kind of grew up watching him, and I like the way he plays. Like, he shoots the puck a lot and plays a hard, heavy game. But I would say I kind of emulate my game after like Brendan Gallagher, who's two-way centerman and block shots, does whatever, plays in every situation. That's kind of what I like to do as a player.
You mentioned Brock Besser that he went to North Dakota. You're also slated to go to North Dakota after the season. And, as being a Grand Forks kid, how special was that? And was that something that, was kind of a dream come true to realize that you committed to the school? I'm sure it was a lot of green that you watched growing up at the Fighting Sioux that you watched growing up in your childhood. So how special was that for you to get a chance to now in a year be able to attend that school that you've watched so much?
It's kind of undescribable. Growing up, that's just all it was going to the Sioux games and thinking like that's the biggest that you could do is go play there. And it was honestly the coolest thing ever when I got to go on my visit there and like got recruited by them. So it was definitely a dream come true to be able to commit there and play there.
And obviously the Vees have a pretty good pipeline of guys that have gone to North Dakota, and it's been a nice relationship that way. And, coming into this off season, it's been a little bit of a weird year. Obviously, the USHL was a little bit different. They were able to get a lot of games in, so it must have felt like a bit of a normal year for you. But coming into this off season, is there anything that you're really focusing on, trying to train and trying to get maybe even stronger or faster? What's kind of the off season plan for you?
I've been doing a lot of skating, more skill stuff, trying to create a little bit more offense in my game to kind of spark that part of my game a little bit more. But I've been playing a lot with like pro guys and college guys, so it's playing with that pace that really helps, and I think that'll help me to have a really good year this year.
Lastly for you now, Dana, the Vees have such a good fan base, year after year, a team that has the highest average attendance of any team in the BC Hockey League. And last year, obviously, there wasn't an opportunity for these fans to watch any games live. So now it's an opportunity this year for fans to come back in the building, an opportunity to watch you guys play. How special is that going to be for you when that, a lot of these fans haven't seen Vees hockey in over a year, that you have an opportunity to now give that to them? Is that going to be pretty special come October, the first few games of the season?
Oh, yeah, it'll be awesome. just getting them back in there. Obviously, I don't really know much about the Canadian junior and the fan aspect of it, but I'm sure when fans are away from it for over a year, that it'll be pretty rowdy and pretty enjoyable to play in front of.
Well, we look forward to having you here in Penticton, Dane. Thanks so much for taking the time today, and we'll look forward to seeing you in September.
Absolutely. See you soon.